Over on my Instagram, you guys left assumptions about me, and in this video, I'm going to respond to them. I hope you enjoy it. Hello and welcome to Naturally High, the channel that helps you grow your 4A, 4B, and especially 4C hair to longer lengths. Lol at this. So you're partly right. I am an introverted extrovert. I am an ENFP according to the Myers-Briggs typing system. So I gain a lot of energy from being around and engaging with others, but I need and benefit from considerable alone time. And this pandemic has been somewhat of a double-edged sword in that sense. So I've benefited from having the time alone for introspection, but I've also been starved of human contact. And that has also taken its toll on me and my energy levels. Who else is an ENFP? Let me know in the comment section below. And are there any INFJs out there? You are so right about soca. In recent years, especially from like 2018 into this year actually, I was really into soca and soca parties and carnivals and that kind of thing, and I still am. Obviously the pandemic's put a bit of a damper on that, but did you know that other genres of music like metal, house, funky house, dubstep, trip hop, death metal, electro, and the list goes on, can elicit the same kind of response from me? Oh, dancehall too, yeah, I mean, of course. So yeah, I have pretty eclectic taste in music. What types of music are you guys into? Do any of you also have eclectic taste? This is a very specific assumption. So you're right in that I don't tend to be miffed off by people assuming that my hair is fake, but it's normally the actions and questions that accompany it that can tip me over the edge. Here are some examples of actual interactions that have infuriated me. When did you do your braids? Braids? This is my loose hair. Oh, but like, who put it in? Put what in? Well, black girls can't grow long hair, so who did that for you? I beg your pardon? Is that your real hair? Yes. Oh really? It's actually nice. Thank you. Normally black girls don't have nice hair. Has anyone ever told you that you look like Krusty the Clown? I definitely am passionate. I find myself going through phases of interest where I completely immerse myself in a new topic and adjust my behaviour and lifestyle to suit, so it actually becomes part of me. And I'll be extremely engrossed in it, I'll talk to everyone about it, it will just be the new paradigm that informs all of the decisions I make. And then after a while, the interest will still be there, but the enthusiasm will fade and it will become, I suppose, a less prominent part of my life. And then I will kind of feel bad because of how much I'd let it consume me. And then the cycle resumes, so I find another topic to immerse myself in. That's just me. I'm not ashamed of that. About the Wanderlust bit, I am sure that those of you watching who are also cross-culture kids can relate, but having been plucked out of my birth country at the tender age of 12, I feel I don't have the same level of attachment to a single country as somebody who may have lived in one country for their entire life. So that's to say that it's not that I get the itch to move countries or I want to move, it's just that if there's a new opportunity in a new place and the new place is livable, comfortable, and I get to learn something new, then I don't really see why I shouldn't go, because I know that most likely I'll be fine as I have been in the past. To date, I've lived in the UK, Trinidad and Tobago, Spain, the Netherlands, and Switzerland, and there's no better or worse, there's only what aligns best with what you want at a given point in time. Now, I can definitely see how I give off that impression, but I think it's more that I don't see borders and languages as barriers in the traditional sense. We shouldn't disregard my privilege here, so I do have a UK passport, and until recently that meant that I had the right to live and work in the 27 EU member states as well as those pertaining to the European Economic Area. I should point out that it isn't my aim to hop from country to country. I'm not so fond of leaving friends behind, though we are getting much better at maintaining our long distance friendships. But instead of the usual things like languages and distance, what might hold me back are questions like, how cold is it? Is it pretty? Will I make enough money? Is it safe? What parts of my current life can I take with me? How far away is the airport? How much will I learn? What's the public transport like? Je suis désolée, mais je parle pas le français. J'étudiais beaucoup de français dans l'école, mais j'ai pas habité dans un pays francophone. Je peux comprendre quelque chose parce que je parle l'anglais et l'espagnol et il y a beaucoup de similarités. Je peux lire et comprendre à peu près 60%. Je voudrais pouvoir parler le français. I love to view myself in this way, but I've also struggled with my fair share of anxiety and self-esteem issues, and also imposter syndrome as well. I'm confident in the sense that I know that in making changes to my behaviour and what I expose myself to, I am capable of existing as the best version of myself. How else do I put this? I feel as though you've seen into my soul. My thoughts are not sequential, and I don't seem to think in a structured way. For example, when I recall something, the information isn't really linear, but it's more scattered. My thoughts are more web-like. But because I know that people like to be communicated with in a more structured manner, I actually implement tools to organize my speech so that it's not all over the place and doesn't confuse the person listening to me. That's an incredible guess. So yes, one of my core values is authenticity. I am definitely a free spirit, and I try to elicit that kind of raw essence from others as well. Teaching is definitely a passion of mine. I've been a Cambridge certified English teacher since 2013. When I'm teaching, I completely lose track of time and enter somewhat of a trance-like flow state where my focus is consistently on the students and ensuring that each one is having their individual needs met. And even just kind of thinking about it gives me goosebumps because I love being in front of a class of students and helping them realise their goals. You assume that I'm caring. Thank you. I'd agree, actually. So I'm pretty empathetic and I genuinely want what's best for others. Your assumptions seem to align really nicely with who I strive to be, so I want to thank you. I have no idea how you arrived at them, but thank you so much for your observations and your magical tenderness as well. Fortuna. Fortuna is one of my clients, so thank you for your lovely comment, Fortuna. I don't really know what else to say now, other than that. I'll see you in the next coaching session. Chanel, I was so surprised to read this. Thank you so much, sweetheart. Whoa. Thank you. I really wasn't expecting this. So yeah, no, super sweet of you to say. At a loss for words. Also want to say that I love what you're doing to expose people in Trinidad and also throughout the region and across the world to local brands. So keep up the fantastic work. Maya! Thank you. That's so sweet of you to say. Everyone, this is Maya, by the way. So, I mean, I guess that this really does stand for something, because if she says I'm hot, I must actually be hot. Thank you. You are 100% right about thinking before I speak. So you can also refer to my previous response about, like, the way I communicate. This is partly right. The reason my channel is even called Naturally High is because I assume that I've got above average enthusiasm and energy. Literally anything can excite me, especially novelty. That said, I can also get really bogged down and I tend to be pretty hard on myself, so there is a balance there. Energetic, this is me 100%. Resourceful, yes, I'd say so. I try to use things until they're on their last legs because I hate waste. Nobody said awkward, by the way. Like, none of you assumed that I'm awkward. I'm really awkward. Who else is awkward? Drop a comment below so I know I'm not alone. I mean, I can be polite, and I do tend to be polite. That's kind of my default state. But I'm definitely not that polite in Spanish. I swear like a sailor. I also swear quite a bit in English too. I feel like my online persona is a kind of butter wouldn't melt in my mouth kind of thing. But yeah, no, you should hear me when I'm not on screen. I love learning new things and I love people. I wouldn't specifically say that I love culture, but since culture encapsulates that which can be learnt, I suppose I do. You are definitely right about my loving knowledge. I'm a lifelong learner. These days I'm finding myself really into psychology, linguistics, hair science, the hair follicle, biohacking, but I'm open to virtually anything that can present me with new ways of seeing the world. Side note, just a quick side note that I'm going to do in Spanish, please bear with me. Para los que habláis español, espero que sepáis que hay subtítulos y puedes dejar traducir los subtítulos si quieres saber qué estoy diciendo. So this is funny. I hate to disappoint you. People are usually shocked when they meet me. I'm actually only 5'2". I'm pretty short. Who else assumed I was tall? And I'm quite impressed with myself that I've managed to create this illusion and delude so many of you, because you're definitely not the first person to assume I was tall. I'm definitely a perfectionist, but this is not a trait to be encouraged. It's definitely not a positive thing. I'm working on being more accepting of where I am right now. Thank you. I'm not sure about the super smart bit. Intelligence manifests in so many different ways, and there's a broad spectrum of different types of people with different manifestations of said intelligence. I have a hard time identifying with intelligence because, for example, detail recall is definitely not one of my strengths, and I think it's something that people often look to as an indicator of intelligence. I feel like there are so many things I don't know anything about, and there's so much that I want to learn as well about the world. I think another thing that contributes to my feeling as though I'm not really intelligent in the traditional sense is that I think aloud and I don't think in words. So if somebody asks me to recall an event, for example, I'll have everything kind of in my head in that scattered web-like structure, and it will also not be sequential. So I'll kind of be plucking out details randomly, and the details I can remember, because remember, those aren't my strengths. So yeah, I don't know. I don't really know. I feel like I have a hard time saying that I'm intelligent, really. But thank you for saying that nonetheless. I think what's important is not really intelligence, but drive to learn something new, and knowing that you can learn something new if you have the right methods and motivation. Somebody who knows something that you don't know, or has a skill that you don't have, has that because they've allowed themselves to safely make more mistakes than you. So they have been in an environment which was safe and compassionate and enriching for longer than you in order to learn what you are yet to discover. That's all. Yes, so I have a master's in molecular and cellular life sciences with a minor in business management. I don't really drink, and that's because as I've grown older, hangovers have come more and more unpleasant. And my body is just incredibly sensitive, so even if I have one beer, I'll have a hangover the next day, and it's really not worth it. Especially since I'm naturally high anyway. I actually swear like a sailor, but my mum is really offended by swearing, so I'm pretty good at switching it off. My grades at uni were decent. And my research projects were varied, with focuses ranging from ecology to zoology, biochemistry, molecular biology, microbiology, cosmetic science, and organic chemistry. Jack of all trades, master of none. What? Who said that? I don't have a measuring tape handy right now, but I can do a length check for you. I actually wouldn't mind shaving my head. I think about it all the time, but something deterring me from that is just the fact that I haven't finished exploring the potential of long afro hair, and I want to do that fully before I move on to that step. Interesting point about my career. I think right now my focus is on learning as much as I can, having a good life, enjoying myself, and helping others. And that concludes it. Hope you found this interesting. If there's anything that you want to know more about, maybe drop a comment and I'll try to reply. And I'm curious to hear your thoughts on my responses. Was there anything that was ultra shocking? Let me know in the comment section below.